What if I told you that your body begins a radical healing process just 72 hours after you put down that last slice of bread? It sounds almost too good to be true, but the transformation is immediate and it is powerful. Most people think giving up bread is about deprivation. They think it's about sitting at a dinner table feeling sad while everyone else eats the bread basket. But by the end of this video, you are going to realize that quitting bread isn't about what you lose. It is about what you gain. We are going to walk through the exact timeline of what happens to your body week by week. From the moment the brain fog lifts to the day your pants start sliding off your hips without you even trying. And the best part? Week 3. Week 3 is the magic moment where most people wake up and realize they feel 10 years younger. Let's break down your transformation. The first 72 hours. Picture this. You've just finished your last sandwich. Your body doesn't know it yet, but you've just flipped a switch. For years, maybe decades, your body has been riding a violent roller coaster. You see, modern bread isn't just grain. In your digestive system, it converts into sugar faster than a candy bar, faster than a tablespoon of pure table sugar. For years, you've been spiking your blood sugar, crashing it, and spiking it again. Within the first 48 to 72 hours of quitting, this roller coaster finally stops. The first thing you will notice is a strange sensation: silence. Not outside you, but inside you. That screaming demand for a snack at 10 a.m.? Gone. That 3 p.m. crash where you feel like you need a nap or a caffeine IV just to finish the workday? It vanishes. Why? Because your insulin, the hormone that controls fat storage and energy, is finally allowed to drop. When you eat bread, your pancreas is constantly flooding your body with insulin to handle the sugar rush. When insulin is high, you cannot burn fat. It is physically impossible. But in these first 3 days, as insulin drops, your body sighs in relief. You stop storing energy and start accessing it. You might feel a little strange at first, maybe a tiny bit tired as your engine switches fuel sources. But hold on, because the lights are about to come on. Week 1. Welcome to Week 1. This is the detox phase. Now, I want to be honest with you, because I want you to succeed. Bread is physically addictive. It stimulates the same pleasure centers in your brain that some addictive drugs do. It's a mild effect, but it is real. That is why comfort food almost always involves flour. So, around day 3 or 4, your brain might throw a little tantrum. You might feel a little irritable. You might have a mild headache. This isn't a bad sign. It is a fantastic sign. It means the addiction is breaking. Your body is physically withdrawing from a substance it has relied on for a quick dopamine hit for years. But then, usually around day 5 or 6, the great clearing happens. You wake up before your alarm, you walk into the kitchen, and you realize something feels lighter. The brain fog, that cotton wool feeling behind your eyes that makes it hard to focus, has evaporated. Your digestion is also taking a massive sigh of relief. You know that feeling of being stuffed or bloated after a meal? That feeling where you need to unbutton your jeans just to sit comfortably? That is usually caused by bread fermenting in your gut. Bread acts like a fast food feast for the bad bacteria in your stomach. They eat it and they produce gas. By the end of week 1, you've cut off their food supply. The bloating deflates. Your stomach feels flatter physically, not because you've lost 10 pounds of fat yet, but because the internal swelling is gone. You look in the mirror and you look less puffy. Your face looks more defined, and we are only 7 days in. Week 2, the inner repair. Week 2 is where the invisible magic happens. This is the repair phase. Your gut lining is one of the most important parts of your body. Think of it like a very fine mesh filter. It's supposed to let vitamins and nutrients through into your blood, but keep toxins and big food particles out. Modern bread contains sticky proteins and irritants that act like sandpaper on this mesh filter. Over time, they tear microscopic holes in it. This is what people call leaky gut. When you have these holes, toxins leak into your blood and your body attacks them. This creates inflammation, a low-grade fire burning inside you all the time. By week 2 of no bread, that fire starts to go out. Your gut lining creates new cells very quickly. Without the daily scratching of those bread irritants, the mesh heals. It tightens up. And here is the pleasurable part. You start getting more energy from the food you do eat. Before, you might have been eating healthy steaks or salads, but because your gut was inflamed, you weren't absorbing the nutrients. Now, you are a nutrient sponge. You might notice your joint pain disappearing. That stiff knee, the aching lower back, the knuckles that hurt when it rains. Often, that isn't age. That is inflammation caused by what you're eating. Many people tell me that by day 14, they are walking downstairs with a bounce in their step they haven't felt in a decade. Week 3. This is it. The new you phase. This is the point where the initial struggle is a distant memory, and you start feeling like a superhero. The biggest change? Your relationship with hunger changes completely. When you eat bread, it messes with a hormone called leptin. Leptin is the stop button in your stomach. It's the hormone that tells your brain, hey, we're full, stop eating. Bread acts like a mute button on leptin. That is why you can eat a massive bowl of pasta, be physically stuffed, and still look for a slice of cake. Your brain never got the memo that you were full. By week 3, the mute button is off. Your stop signal works again. This feels like a superpower. You sit down to a meal of delicious eggs, avocado, maybe some steak or roasted chicken. You eat until you are satisfied, and then, effortlessly, you just stop. You don't have to use willpower to push the plate away. You just don't want anymore. This is true food freedom. You aren't dieting. You aren't white-knuckling it through hunger pangs. You are just naturally eating the right amount for your body. Your sleep also transforms during this week. Because your blood sugar isn't crashing in the middle of the night, you don't wake up at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling. You sleep deep, restorative sleep. And when you sleep better, you burn more fat. It's a beautiful, positive cycle. Week 4. Fat-burning machine. By week 4, you have become a fat-burning machine. Your body has fully realized that the quick sugar hits aren't coming back. It has shifted gears. It has gone into the basement, unlocked the freezer, and started using your stored body fat for fuel. This is where your clothes start fitting differently. You might step on the scale and see a number drop, but more importantly, look at your belt. Look at how your shirts fit across the stomach. Insulin triggers fat storage specifically around the belly. It's called visceral fat, and it's the most dangerous kind. When you quit bread and lower that insulin, the belly fat is the first thing the body attacks for fuel. You might notice people starting to comment, "Have you lost weight? Your skin looks glowing." Speaking of skin, without the inflammation from bread, acne often clears up. Redness and puffiness fade away. You lose that water retention in your cheeks and jawline. You actually look like you've had a facelift just by changing your diet. Week 6 to 8, the lifestyle shift. As we move past the 1-month mark, something profound happens. This stops being a challenge and starts being your life. And it is a good life. Your mood stabilizes. Highs and lows in sugar lead to highs and lows in mood, anxiety, irritability, stress. By week 8, you feel emotionally resilient. You feel calm. And let's talk about what you are eating, because this is where the pleasure comes in. When you quit bread, you aren't eating cardboard. You are replacing that cheap, fluffy filler with nutrient-dense, savory, delicious, real food. Think about what you put on bread. The butter, the cheese, the meat, the avocado. Those are the good parts. Now you just eat those. Instead of a dry sandwich, imagine a big bowl of savory taco meat over a crisp salad with guacamole and salsa. Imagine a juicy ribeye steak with herb butter and roasted asparagus. You realize that bread was actually blocking the flavor of the real food. It was a dull vehicle. Without it, your palate wakes up. There are things happening deep inside that you can't see, but are saving your life. Your cholesterol profile improves, not because you cut cholesterol, but because you cut the inflammation that damages your arteries. Your blood pressure often drops significantly. Bread makes you hold on to water and sodium. When you quit, your kidneys flush out that excess fluid. The pressure in your pipes goes down, and your hormones balance out. For men, testosterone often rebounds when insulin resistance is fixed. For women, cycles become more regular, and symptoms of PCOS often diminish. All because you stopped eating a processed grain that we were never really designed to eat in these quantities. For the first 2 weeks you might. It's a habit. But after week 4, you honestly won't care. Your body is smart. It learns to associate feeling good with not eating bread. When you look at a donut or a bagel after 2 months, you don't see a treat. You see a stomach ache. The craving disappears because the physical addiction is broken. And if you really truly want a vehicle for your food, there are amazing alternatives now. Lettuce wraps that give you a fresh crunch, almond flour breads, cheese wraps, or even ancient grains like einkorn if you decide to indulge once in a blue moon, grains that haven't been mutated like modern wheat. But the funny thing is, most people find they don't even need the alternatives. They fall in love with eating real food. They fall in love with feeling high energy from the moment they wake up until the moment they go to bed. You are 72 hours away from a completely different energy. Why not start your timeline today? I want to know, what is the one meal you think is going to be hardest to change? Let me know in the comments, and I'll reply with a delicious, bread-free alternative that will make you forget you ever missed it. Thanks for watching, and here is to your healing.